Hi everybody, it's Beverly at Bama Blind, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that has confused so many people for so long, and I'm hoping to clarify the definition of legal blindness due to visual field restrictions. There's two definitions of legal blindness, and I'm going to skip the first definition and I'm going straight to the second definition, which is a restricted field of vision of 20 degrees or less. And to explain this a little better, I'm going to let you pretend you are in the camera. I'm going to let you look at me and you pretend that you are the human eye. The human eye normally has a visual field of 180 degrees. So if you were the human eye, you would be able to see directly to your left and directly to your right. You would be able to see what's in this room. I know because you're an iPhone right now, you're only able to see maybe a corner of this yellow wall here, and you're able to see my beautiful plant, which is flourishing here, and a little beyond that. So right now you're able to see about a 90-degree field of vision naturally with my iPhone. Now, to explain what 20 degrees or less is, I have put it into a measurement using the face of a clock. So if you look directly at me and you pretend that I'm the 12 at the face of a clock, and to either side of me are hash marks that designate minutes. One hash mark to the 11 o'clock side of this clock, and one hash mark to the 1 o'clock side of this 12 noon demarcation would give you a field of vision of 12 degrees. So each hash mark, each minute mark on a clock represents 6 degrees. So let's say that's 12 degrees is just not very far, especially when you're looking at hash marks. So if we move it to 2 minutes before and 2 minutes after, now we multiply that times 4 because we got 4 hash marks here. That would be 24 degrees. So that's beyond the definition of legal blindness in the United States. So if you can see 2 minutes prior to noon and you can see 2 minutes after noon, then you have a visual field of 24 degrees. So you have to kind of narrow that just ever so slightly, and you get the concept, you get the idea of what it's like to have a 20 degree field loss. So you're not seeing you're not seeing the 11 or the 1, you're not seeing the 10 or the 2, you're not seeing the 9 or the 3. If you had normal human vision, you would see that whole half of the clock. But when you have a visual restriction of 20 degrees or less, you can see the 12 and just a little bit before the minute mark, before you hit 12, and a little bit after the 1 minute mark beyond 12. And that will give you a visual field of 20 degrees or less. And to clarify that legal blindness, it doesn't try to define what you are legally able to do or not able to do. The definition of legal blindness in the United States was brought up in the early 70s so that people who had severe vision loss, whether it was visual acuity or restricted field, would have access to legal rights, privileges, and programs because they were so severely visually impaired. It doesn't have to do with the point that you are legally allowed to drive or legally allowed to be in public by yourself or legally allowed in the United States to own a firearm. It just has to do with the definition that was placed on someone to denote that they have a severe vision loss to the point that they qualify for some rights and privileges and programs for severely visually impaired people. Now, to drive That depends on each jurisdiction in the United States. Each state is different. If you're looking at me and you're seeing a visual field of about 90 degrees, if you expand that visual field just a little bit and you were able to see beyond the corner of this wall here, just about a foot, and beyond this plant, just about a foot, that would give you about the visual field that you might be able to drive legally. So the definition of legal blindness due to visual field restriction to 20 degrees or less is basically so that that person can qualify for many rights, many privileges under the law that pertain to people with severe visual disabilities. So I hope this has shed some light on it, and if you like this kind of video, hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll get all notifications, and leave comments. I want to know, do you have a visual field loss? Do you understand it? Can I answer any questions at all? This is a cursory overview. It's a very layman's type term. I am not a scientist. I'm not an eye doctor. I was a visual rehabilitation counselor, so I've had to read many, many reports. But this is just my definition, and I hope it's been understandable. And I hope to see you in the next video, everybody. Bye-bye.